What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another Angle Pursuit podcast, your fantasy football home over at fakepigskin.com. I'm back to talk some more SFB8. I'm going to try and get as many people on as that I know over the next couple weeks, talk about their SFB rosters, talk about kind of their game plan going in and all that stuff. And tonight I have a special guest. This person not only is in the SFB8, but they were in our listener league last year, crushing the competition and coming home with the title and knocking out some, myself included in the process. Michael, what's up, my man?
Nothing much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you. So I guess going into SFB8, did you have a position or player or general strategy that you were trying to employ going in to try and take this thing down?
Well, the main thing was to focus on players who are high in first down
Mm-hmm.
usage, I would say, since the scoring was similar to last season's, but different mainly because of the quarterback,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
where the quarterback had, where the scoring is slanted more towards running quarterbacks, and -4 for interception, which was is also a big one.
yeah. So yeah, you get zero point 0.5 points for every rushing first down, zero point 0.5 points for every passing. You get the 6 points for passing touchdown, but you do lose 4 points for those interceptions. So that definitely stings. I see you got Cam Newton early. I also took Cam in my draft, and it feels like a guy that, despite those interceptions, he does so much with his legs that he can kind of make up that ground and so much more.
Exactly. I mean, running is part of his DNA. It's never going to go away.
Yeah,
No coach anywhere is going to try to take that out of him. It's just who he is, and
absolutely.
that's how he gets it going. When he starts running, making first downs, then he gets energized and gets the team offense energized, and it flows from there. So it was a tough choice between him. I was also thinking of using Carson Wentz,
Mm-hmm.
but his ACL recovery was kind of scared me off because I don't think he's going to be running much early
Yeah.
to protect. The coaches may protect him from running too much, but maybe towards the second half of the season, that's when his running may come more into vogue.
Yeah, and I do wonder because this is definitely like you have to be like doing well early, or else you're not gonna make the playoffs because the playoffs start really early and then they start knocking teams out kind of as it rolls along. So it's definitely starting well is important. So I like how you took that into consideration. Is this your first year in the SFB, or have you played in past years?
I my This is my year two.
Nice, yeah. It's definitely something that once you get in, you keep trying to find ways to stay in it because it is a lot of fun, and especially right now when it's kind of a dead period in fantasy football world,
Yeah,
it gives us something to get excited about and have fun with. You took Jordan Howard in the end of the fourth, right before the fifth turn, right there.
yeah.
Talk to me about him because he seems like a polarizing player right now. I'm 100% with you. I'm on the Jordan Howard bandwagon this year, but it seems like people either love him or completely want to write him off. There's a lot of Tariq Cohen hype. I guess talk to me about Howard and kind of what you were excited about there.
Well, for Howard, it's just he's ensconced as their main running back.
Yeah,
Nothing Tariq Cohen can do can knock him out.
yeah,
Nothing. He's a not small, but he's a relatively small running back. They
yeah,
can't just give him like 15 or 20 carries because he can't handle it.
yep,
That's where Jordan Howard comes in. He's a
yep,
1,000-yard rusher as a rookie. And he's probably gonna do that again next season. Of course, where everybody moans and complains is his lack of hands
yeah,
because he can't catch a cold. But still, in this format, with first downs, point five PPR,
yep,
it doesn't hurt him as much if he gets only like 20 to 25 receptions. If he
yep,
gets 1,200, 1,300 yards between 6, 7, 8 touchdowns, I'll gladly take that
Absolutely.
anytime.
Absolutely, yeah, and you mentioned, he doesn't catch the ball well, so that kind of that kind of doesn't give him as safe a floor as some of the other guys. But you're not taking him in the top of. If he caught the ball well, he'd be going up in the end of the first round, like Melvin Gordon, like Kareem Hunt, and you're getting
Exactly.
3 round price difference. And also, we saw last year when the Bears were good and in games when they were winning games, Jordan Howard was a big part of their game plan. And with the improvements they made to the offensive side of the ball, with the improvements they made to the defensive side of the ball, they should be relatively, in contention in a lot more football games this year, meaning more Jordan Howard, meaning more rushing opportunities, more first downs, more
Yeah.
wind out the clock, and hopefully more
Yeah.
touchdowns.
Yeah. Of course, there may be a game or two where Jordan Howard touches aren't going to be so
Yeah.
dramatic. Then okay, fine. You just live with that.
Yep.
That's called football or called variance.
Was there a pick? So you're in the you just made your pick in the 15th round.
Yeah.
Um, is there a pick that you are really excited about, like a guy that you're really thinking could do something this year, or you were happy that you were still sitting there when you came on the clock, or whatever it may be?
See, Robert Woods in the 11th.
Yeah, I think it's really nice value.
Yeah, I couldn't. I was shocked because by the time I got down to that pick, I only had one receiver.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it
was
gives
going
you.
running back, QB heavy. I
Yep.
said, time for me to get a damn red receiver.
Yeah, it gives you
Yep.
stability. So I guess you don't Robert Woods is there. Obviously, Cooper Cup is there. They brought in Brandon Cooks. Todd Gurley is still going to catch a ton of balls. Do you think Robert Woods has the goods to be maybe not the number, maybe not in terms of yardage number one receiver, but in terms of targets and in terms of completions?
They're the targets. Yeah, I think he could be the top guy. I think he and Cooks could vie for most TDs.
Yeah.
But I think Woods could be in the line to lead in targets because he did miss a couple of games toward the to second half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
If you extrapolate that toward 16 games, he had one hell of a year.
Yep. Yep. Cooper Cup, I think, is interesting, obviously, in this format just because he could catch a lot of first downs. But I think Robert Woods is also going to be that guy where he gets a lot of extra first downs. And obviously, having the rapport with Jared Goff, I think, makes a big difference, too.
Oh, no
Um,
doubt.
I do like that you took Blake Bortles and Case Keenum. I think, to your point earlier, they both have the ability to run and
Yes.
utilize their legs.
Yeah.
Bortles does scare me a little bit because obviously last year they kind of kept him under wraps and didn't hurt you as bad. But
True.
if they let him open it up a little bit more and he throws a few too many picks, that could get frustrating. But I think between Bortles and Keenum, you should be fine. The Aaron Jones pick in let's see, he was running back 40 taken in the draft in the 10th round. Are you is that just your guy in the Green Bay backfield, or was he just a good value at that point?
Both. I do love Aaron Jones as a guy who could eventually become the number one guy eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I know McCarthy has said we're gonna go running back by committee, but I really can't trust anything that comes out of McCarthy's mouth. I just can't. I just
Yeah,
fucking can't.
yeah,
But even though he's going to be suspended for the first 2 games, that's fine.
yep,
Yeah, that's no problem. I think he's still going to be involved as a runner because I think he had the best yardage between Jamal Williams and Ty Montgomery. And Ty Montgomery's quasi receiver running.
yeah,
It's, he's more suited to become a receiver
yeah.
and let Williams and Jones be the main running back guys.
Yeah, I think there's a reason. Obviously, Green Bay took both Jones and Williams last year. I think they want to use Montgomery as kind of a utility weapon, kind of play him all over the field. But
Yeah.
I'm a little Jamal Williams. I
Okay.
definitely, in terms of explosion and big plays, Aaron Jones has it. But
Yeah.
I also think Jamal Williams is really good and can be that consistent guy. And if he plays really well over the first 2 games, I think there's a chance he locks down the job. But you
Fair.
know, if he struggles, or especially in pass protection, if he struggles, Aaron Jones comes back, proves that he can do it better. It may be Jamal Williams to the bench and Aaron Jones in there as the starter.
Yeah, yeah. That's all in play. All those factors are all in play.
Yep. I love what you did at tight end. Obviously, that you get an extra half point on the tight end, plus you get those potential receiving first downs. Kyle
Yeah.
Rudolph should get you a ton of first downs. Jack Doyle, if Andrew Luck's healthy, should get you a ton of first downs. And if it's Jacoby Brissett again, he didn't seem to hate Doyle last year, and can look for
Nope.
him. Obviously, Eric Ebron being there doesn't help, and then Jake Butt, who's a guy that I keep finding myself in Dynasty and Redraft and Best Ball getting a lot of shares of. I think there's a lot of potential for him to kind of be a solid fantasy tight end this year, and a guy that, when you're streaming in week 8 or week 9 or week 10, you're looking at Jake Butt and saying, let me get some of that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if he didn't tear his ACL in the Orange Bowl, he would have been like a third-round pick.
Yeah.
Because he tore his ACL, he just completely plummeted and spent last season basically as a redshirt year.
Yeah.
This season, he's coming back, has no signs of any kind of limping or being held back or nothing. He's a full go, and he's shown in Michigan that he's a proven tight end. He can catch the ball, he can go over the middle. I mean, if you're coached by Jim Harbaugh, you at least you know how to play the tight end position. You love to learn the tight ends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can be a solid, low end tight end 1 or a good tight end 2 for you.
Yeah, 100%. And in this format, you're going to probably, there's a good chance you'll want to play 2 or 3 tight ends every week just because they get so many points. And I like how you paired him with Keenum. I think the fact that the Broncos are actually going to have somebody reliable at quarterback is going to do wonders for that offense kind of as a whole, in terms of obviously Demaryius and Manny Sanders and Cortland Sutton and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that backfield? Do you have a guy you like? Is it Royce Freeman? Is it Devontae Booker? Is it a mess?
Well, right now it's a mess. But I think Royce Freeman has a shot to basically win the job. But he has to do it during training camp, and especially during preseason. He's got to show the coaching staff that number 1, he's got to protect the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's numero uno. Can't protect the ball, his ass is going to be sitting on the bench. Number 2, pass pro. He pass pros well, protects the ball. He's got a shot to win the job because he was a big-time workhorse at the University of Oregon for 4 years. And Devontae Booker has shown really nothing.
Nothing.
And it helps the offensive line should be better next year.
Yeah, I was a Booker fan coming out, but he, like you said, he hasn't given you a lot to be excited about. Let's talk about your 101, because you had the first pick, and you took Zeke Elliott over Le'Veon, over David Johnson.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. What is it about Zeke that stood out? Because I think this year, unlike most years, there's you could see 5, 6, 7 different players go in the 101, and it wouldn't seem that crazy. Zeke's definitely in the mix. What was it about him, and especially for this format that drew you to that name?
Well, number 1, the format is the first downs.
Yeah.
Honestly, and he's going to get a ton of work in a running game, and also, sneakily, or may not be so sneakily, in the passing game.
Yeah.
He's a chance to get 50 to 60 receptions.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays all 16, knock on wood, plays all 16. But, he's going to be the focal point of this offense, bar none. There's really no one behind him. He's going to play all 3 downs.
Mm-hmm.
And if Scott Linehan is smart and Jason Garrett is smart, they'll realize that Zeke is their biggest weapon, and they need to use him. So that's why I went 101. And also I went also wanted to go a little contrarian.
Yeah,
With this huge amount of people,
yeah.
you got to go contrarian at some places. So I figured, let me go one-on-one with Zeke.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great call. I think there's definitely a lot to like, and especially in terms of where volume is king. And you look at Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh, and obviously Antonio Brown's there, and they brought in James Washington, and they have the tight ends, and there's always a way to spread it around. There's David Johnson in Arizona, who I like quite a bit, but there's also concerns about quarterback play. If Bradford can stay healthy, or if Josh Rosen ends up coming in, and then maybe you lean receiver. You look at Hopkins, you look at Antonio Brown. I don't know. There's a few names, but Zeke's definitely, like, if you want to talk about volume, production, this might be a DeMarco Murray-esque season where he's just the guy and he gets all the work, and maybe it hurts down the road. But for now, this is great for you. And, I'm with you in terms of 50, 60, maybe even 70 catches, and no Jason Witten, no Des Bryant. Obviously, they brought in Alan Hearns, they brought in Michael Gallup, but there's plenty of opportunity to go around, and I think Zeke could feast. And when you add AJ Green, Cam Newton, Jordan Howard, like Alex Collins, that's a really nice start. A lot of not only upside at each position, but kind of safety and reliability. No one that should, unless they have a major injury or whatnot, just kind of collapse on you.
Well, yeah. That's the big worry for everybody. Who's going to get hurt and when?
Yep. I know we're gonna have somebody, and I know after week 1, because you can't do waivers until week 1 is over, there's gonna be a name or maybe two that have the potential to be difference makers. And when you're attacking the waiver wire, it's really interesting because there's some years where there's names and you have to kind of spend your whole fab if you really want to get them. And sometimes that player is James Jones, and that doesn't really do much past the first couple weeks. But there's been other years. I think this is my 3rd or 4th year playing, where there's real difference makers, and people win the league because of adding names. So, it will be definitely interesting. So as we kind of wrap it up here, is there a name or two that, as the season approaches, you've kind of changed your tune on? Guys you're maybe getting a lot more excited about and thinking, I really like to get this guy in a few leagues, or vice versa. Is there somebody that you were really excited about, kind of come in it, but now as the season approaches, you're starting to worry about touches or volume, or kind of role in the offense? Anyone's come to mind?
Let's see. Someone I could stay away from. One could be Jordan Reed, because he's always hurt.
Yeah.
The only way I would grab him if I got him like 11th, 12th round, then the value would be just too damn good for me to pass.
Yeah, like if
Other than that, I'm not touching with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, like Jordan Reed's, like, obviously when he's on the field, he's incredible, but there's so much volatility there. Like, would you rather, if you're taking, I'm assuming you're taking Kyle Rudolph over him?
Yes.
And taking Jack Doyle over him?
Yes.
Trey Burton?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Probably.
it's just, and that's when you start, okay, you're thinking, what about like George Kittle in San Francisco?
Ooh. Okay, that's a tough one.
See? So when you start to get to these situations with the kind of younger, unproven guys versus Jordan Reed, which we know his ceiling, he could be among the elite at the position, but he could also be hurt. So him and Tyler Eifert are both two guys that I've been kind of keeping an eye on in this draft, because obviously it's tight end premium. Obviously when they play and they're good, they're incredible and they're among the best at the position. They could be guys that help you win this league, but they could also be hurt for 14 of 16 games and basically tank your season.
Yeah, they are. A couple of guys I was kind of hoping to get. Both were the Broncos receivers, Manny Sanders and Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah,
I'm expecting bounce back years from both of them.
Yeah, well, I think
this is a big year for both, because their contracts are almost up.
Yeah,
and hitting their early 30s.
Yeah, and they have to prove it. But I like that you got Case Keenum in this league, because if Demarius rebounds and is still really good, if
Yeah,
Amanda Sanders comes back, if Jake Butt's healthy, it all of a sudden Case Keenum's got all these great weapons to throw to, and you should be like a beneficiary of all those great points. And like you said, it will be interesting to see because Keenum and Demarius and Manny Sanders all could be elsewhere, in the next season or two. They obviously brought in, Cortland Sutton and Deshaun Hamilton and potential
yeah.
replacements for those guys. It will be interesting to see. Anybody else that you're really excited about or kind of targeting in upcoming drafts?
I'm interested a little bit in the Saints rookie Traquan Smith,
Okay.
because if the Saints draft someone that relatively high,
Mm-hmm.
they must really like them,
Yeah.
because they did that with Kamara last year. Then look what happened.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's going to happen like that with Traquan Smith, but he's someone that I think you should be at least be on your watch list to watch, especially preseason.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great call, and if your draft is after the first couple weeks of preseason, which it should be, definitely see how much he's used, see if he's out there with the ones, see if he's out there with the twos, because like you said, the Saints don't just go and use draft capital like that on someone if they don't see a role for them in their offense.
Yeah,
Obviously, Breeze is kind of almost towards the end of his career, so they
yeah,
want to surround him with weapons.
yeah,
Not having Brandon Cooks, they look, okay, maybe we need a little bit of a field stretcher, and Smith's a bigger guy, but does a lot of the same kind of stuff. So I think that's a great call. Totally with you. So, Michael, tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter and check out your work.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at mstepney71. That's capital M, capital S, lowercase TEPSTEPNEY. And I am a writer for the Fantasy Authority. And my subject is streaming options for both quarterbacks and defense.
Nice. I put Michael's Twitter handle below his head there, so you can make sure you follow him on Twitter. Smart guy, definitely knows his stuff, and look for his work on the Fantasy Authority this coming season. Michael, thanks for stopping by. We'll definitely have to do this again.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I'd like to do it again too.